you don't have the physique you want, and it's because of this one thing which I'm going to cover throughout this video. Now, it's Monday, the 13th of April. I've just come back from the gym. I wasn't supposed to work out. I had a few clients, then decided that for me to have a better day, for me to be more energetic, for me to prepare myself for the week ahead mentally, it will be best if I get a session in. You know, if you work out, you will feel so much better after. The endorphins are flowing. You feel so much more energetic. You feel so much more ready to start your day. But one thing that a lot of guys, and myself included, you know, even up until a few weeks ago, neglect is diet. If your diet isn't right, you could train 7 days a week and you're still going to be out of shape. Like, I've been 90 kilo, bearing in mind I'm 72 now, training 6 days a week, and I look like shit. In fact, I'll put a picture up over here to show you what I look like. You wouldn't even think that I was training because I was just overweight. I had an excess amount of fat, and the truth is, back then, I didn't have any discipline around what I ate, what I consumed. And the issue with that is that we begin to lose control over the things around us. We don't want that. There have been many times in my life where I have lost control, where I was not in control of my life, and that led me down a really bad path of just being upset, being sad, being down. And only really once I decided that I was in control, that I'm going to decide what I'm going to do every day, that's when my life began to get better. Because once you take accountability, there is no more, oh, it's because of him that I'm in this position. You realize that it's all on you. And so that gives you a sense of comfort. Okay, maybe I'm not where I want to be, but I can do something about it, and I can get out of this position and move into the place that I'd like to be. Now, we want that control. And I'm not going to tell you, I'm not going to sit here and lie and say, you know, it's hard. It's Monday. I've had about 4 coffees. And because I indulged on the weekend, which is what I kind of wanted to cover today, about the fact that I indulged and I'm still losing weight, still getting lean. Because I indulged, my brain and my stomach especially just wants more. I want more food. Like, waking up this morning was hard because, you know, the weekend, especially Saturday, I sleep in. I had about 8.5 hours sleep, which for me is phenomenal. So my body is getting used to this sleeping more, weekend lifestyle kind of thing, and eating more food. And so it is hard. It is hard to always be on the right path and control everything that's going in. But that control allows you to dictate where you're going. And in this video specifically, I want to speak to you about how on the weekend I ate a good, I've got the numbers here, on Saturday, total, I had 5,650 calories. And on Friday, I had 2,100 calories. That's a total almost of 8,000 calories for 2 whole days. That's a lot of food for 2 days. And you're probably thinking, well, that in itself is contradicting what you're saying. You're saying that you need to have control. Well, clearly you didn't have control because you ate 8,000 calories in 2 days. And that is the most obvious way to look at it. Like, I would look at it the same way. Like, bro, if you're eating 8,000 calories, obviously you don't have control over what you're eating, because that's a fuck ton of food. No one in their right mind eats 8,000 calories in 2 days. It's 4,000 calories a day. I mean, it can be done. Obviously, you probably do it as well on the weekend. When you start drinking alcohol, that makes a big difference. If you eat junk food, if you go out to eat, if you have dessert, these things are all going to add up. They're all going to add up, and you're going to end up in a surplus. And it's probably, if you are overweight, it's probably why. Because you are continuously, over a long period of time, even if you're in a slight surplus, if you're eating more than what your body burns, you will gain weight. And if you're overweight, that's why you're in the position you're in. But then, what are you doing about losing the weight? One of the biggest things that you need to understand of what you need to do to lose weight is to track. Is to track your food and understand, have clarity around what you are consuming. You've seen this picture that I posted before, that I put up here before. I'll put it up again, of me at 90 kg. I could eat all fucking day. When I say that, I could wake up, and the second I wake up, I could have a full English, and then after that I'll have pancakes, or have waffles, and then I'll have a crepe, and then you could take me to lunch soon after, and I'll have a burger and chips and nuggets and a milkshake, and then a few hours after that I'll have a few snacks, and then during dinner time, I really love food. But the issue with that is that me being overweight doesn't align with the type of person that I want to be. First of all, when I was 90 kilo, my cholesterol was high, my testosterone was not low, but not, it wasn't a great, I didn't have high testosterone, basically, is what I'm trying to say. And my sleep was absolutely fucked. My girlfriend used to wake me up all throughout the night, because I kept waking her up, because I was snoring like a motherfucker. And okay, I might still snore a little bit now, but nowhere near as much as I was when I was 90 kilo. And the issue with being overweight is that it starts to block up something to do with your nose and your throat. I don't know too much about it, but there would be times where I would choke in my sleep just from being overweight. I would be snoring, and then all of a sudden I'd choke, and that would wake me up. And sometimes I would wake up from it, and sometimes it would half wake me up, and I'd be just dozing, and I don't remember it, but my girlfriend's seen it happen to me plenty of times. And so my sleep kept getting interrupted. I think they call it sleep apnea. My sleep kept getting interrupted, and because of that, I'd be more tired throughout the day, and I wouldn't be able to perform well with work, with my workouts, just trying to navigate through life. You want to be well rested. I talk about it all the time. Yes, I'm be completely straight with you. In the past few weeks, there have been days where I've slept 4 hours. There have been days where I've slept 6 hours. And I am finding it quite tough right now to get my 7 hours of sleep every single night, because I run a business, and I also, that's pretty much it. I really want to spend a lot of time building this business, and that means fulfillment, okay, making sure that the clients get exactly what they need to become successful, to build their physique, to lose weight, to become accountable to themselves, to achieve exactly what they're paying me for. Then I also have to spend a lot of time working on myself, because there's one thing working on my business, but if I am not good with myself, then I won't be able to help other people as well. I'm reading, I've got books, I've just got a bunch of books which I'm trying to get through. one by one, page by page. I don't, I've set myself a few goals and a few targets that I need to achieve, and that is to read 5 books within the next, I think, 3 months. And I've written down everything here, the time span of when I'm gonna read these books by. I'll even tell you. So I'm currently reading Discipline Equals Freedom, which is started 2nd of April, and I've got till the 27th, so another 14 days to read it. I'm reading about 20 pages a day. It's quite a short book. I'll show you the pages. There's not much writing in it. Then I've got As a Man Thinketh, which is April 28th to the 10th of May. Then I've got Atomic Habits, which I've listened to about 5 years ago, but kind of want to re-jog my memory because stacking habits is like one of the best things you can do, and I learned that from Atomic Habits, so I want to see what else I can learn from that book. And stacking habits, in case you don't know what that is basically this. So I was really bad at taking creatine, and I even put it up on my Instagram story, if you've seen, where I said I need to post my creatine every single day. If I don't, message me and I'll send you a tenner. Now, if 100 people message me, that's £1,000. So I became accountable to Instagram for taking my creatine. But what I learned on that journey, because I started doing it every single day, what I learned on that journey is that if I just put the creatine on my desk out in front of me, I'm going to take it every day because it's right there. That is stacking habits. One of my habits is sitting here on my desk. So if I stack another habit that I want to achieve, which is taking my creatine, on this habit, then it's going to be very hard basically not to take my creatine. So that's what I learned from Atomic Habits, and I just want to reread that. Well, I didn't read it, I listened to it, but I want to read it. Then I've got Outwitting the Devil, which, As a Man Thinketh, that is whatever you think, you will achieve. And I know that is manifestation, and that is all about having the right thoughts that get you to where you want to get to. But I haven't read the book, so I'm excited to read that. Outwitting the Devil is basically, I don't know exactly what it's about, but if I was to guess, it's just to be stronger than the devil. We've always got, the voice in our head telling us that, I want to sleep in, or I want to have a burger, or I want to skip this workout, or no, I want to sleep with this girl. Not me, by the way. I want to make that clear. I do have a girlfriend and I don't get those thoughts, but it got to a point in my life where even 2 years before I started dating my girl, where I realized sleeping with girls is just so pointless. It's so shallow. And so, okay, you might get the urge in your head to do so, but it's not going to get you anywhere. So any thought, any temptation that's going to make you drift, going to put you on the wrong path instead of make you excel and make you level up and put you on the right path, we need to get that thought out of our mind. And I think that's what Outwitting the Devil is about. But I've got that from 9th of June until 13th of July. And then finally, I've got Reality Transferring, which is the longest book, the biggest book out of all of these. I've given myself quite a while to read this, 14th of July to 29th of September. So I've set myself goals. The goal is I will be a man of truth, integrity, and be known for discipline, strength, and wisdom. Then I wrote how. How am I going to achieve this? And, how am I going to be truthful and have integrity? How am I going to be disciplined? How am I going to be known for my wisdom? And so that is how. Always remember that when you set goals. It's not just I want to do this. No. How? Be specific. That's how you're going to be able to adhere more to the goal. But I'm always trying to better myself. And so if it means some days, working on my business, bettering myself, being there for my clients, you know, random calls. All of a sudden they need to call me and I'm chatting to them, or my girlfriend needs me. And to be fair, I mean, she is quite independent, but sometimes I will sleep less. So sleep is important, but you know, these things happen. I think if you are working like a 9 to 5 job, it does become a lot more of your routine to get the right sleep in. And if you do struggle with sleep, then definitely trying to make routine out of it is going to help massively. Now, I know I've gone on a massive tangent, so I'll try and get back to where I was going. But I mean, I can take you back to when I was overweight and kind of like what it did to me. And the thing is, back then when I was 90 kilo, I was loving life because I was just eating whatever the hell I wanted. I knew I would hit my protein target. I knew I was building muscle. I was getting so much stronger in the gym, and I was enjoying working out as well. But it's not the type of man that I want to be, and I want to speak about that more so later on in the video. What I want to speak about now is how I managed to eat 8,000 calories and I'm still losing weight. I'm still getting lean. I mean, my abs aren't fully out yet, but I'm probably the leanest I've been in a very long time. Like I'm two plus years or something. And I spoke about tracking and how important that is, why it's so important to track your food. So it goes back to also, again, me writing down my goals. I wrote the other day one of my goals, what I want to achieve specifically, and I'll share it with you. One of my goals is I will get shredded 6-pack abs and be a fucking unit at the gym, because I want to be a role model for people. Can't even fucking read my writing, sorry guys. I want to be a unit at the gym because I want to be the role model for people, can't read that, and actually live what I speak. Oh, people watching and actually live what I speak. I preach a lot about being disciplined, about having control, about being strong. And so if I speak about these things, I also need to walk the walk and, you know, be specific about your goal. And then I wrote how. And a how is I will track all of my food, even on weekends, because data is law. I'll have all of my check-in hub filled in to the max, which is basically the system that I use for myself and my clients when it comes to tracking. And my phone just died, so I'll continue recording over here on my laptop. Now, the reason why tracking is so important also on your weekends as well as your weekdays is because in order for you to continuously lose weight, you need to continuously be in a deficit. Now, we all know one of the biggest issues of why you can't lose weight is because you keep ending up in this vicious cycle of dieting during the week. And then when the weekend comes, you overeat and you get back to Monday and you haven't lost any weight. You've even lost half a kilo, 1 kilo during the week, but then you put that all back on the weekend, and that's very demotivating. You don't want to, you know, you get back to it, you're like, you get back to Monday, you're like, fuck, I've got to do it again. And I'm going to be completely honest with you. This happened to me very recently. Like I was 72.5 kilo for about 2.5 weeks straight because I kept doing this. I kept dieting fucking hard during the week, and then the weekend came, and I would not track any of my food. But since writing this goal, since writing exactly what it is that I've got to do, I started tracking my food, and that has allowed me to continuously lose weight, even whilst consuming 8,000 calories on the weekend. Data is law. data is king. If we have all the numbers out in front of us, then we know exactly what is coming in, and we can weigh that up next to how much we weigh. So you have your weight and you have your calories side by side. And if your weight goes up, if your weight goes down, depending on your calories going up or down, you can understand exactly why that's happened. Let's say I didn't track calories. Let's say I decided to just wing it. I would have probably ended up having 9, 10, 11, 12,000 calories on Saturday and Sunday, because the fact that I was tracking subconsciously, I was being a little bit more aware of what I was consuming on the weekend. Don't get me wrong. I had 3/4 of a bottle of tequila on Saturday night. I had Friday night dinner. I also had Saturday lunch, and I also went to McDonald's drive-through after my night out on Saturday, and I had a lot of food. I had a double Big Mac. I had a triple cheeseburger. I had nuggets. I had mozzarella. I ate a lot. I ate a lot. So I did eat a lot, but I was being aware of how much I was eating. And now that I have all of the data out in front of me, it gave me a better idea of what I should do on the Sunday. Because on the Sunday, I could have easily eaten another 3,000 calories. But I know by then, I know exactly how many calories I've had, my daily average calories for the week. And so if I eat 3,000 calories, I'll end up in a maintenance, in a surplus, and all that effort of that I put in the whole week dieting and trying to lose weight will all be lost just because one last day. But because I knew exactly what I consumed Monday to Saturday, then Sunday became a lot clearer, and I ate about 900 calories to make sure that I'd stay in the deficit for the week. Because remember, you might be in a deficit for one day, but that's irrelevant. You're never going to lose weight in one day. You lose weight throughout the weeks. And so you need to focus on your week, your daily average calorie for the week. That's why you get all the numbers, every day you write down your calories, add them all up together, divide them by 7. That is your daily average calories. If it is above your maintenance, you're in a surplus, you're not going to lose weight. It needs to be below your maintenance for you to lose weight. Now, you may know, you may not know, on a Friday night and Saturday, I don't use my phone. So you're thinking, how does this guy track? I track because, not because, I track afterwards. So I will take a mental note of exactly what I've eaten. And when I say a mental note, I am being very vigilant. You know, I even had one piece of a Satsuma. Satsumas are already tiny, but my girlfriend had one, and I literally had one. And I went into ChatGPT after, and I wrote down exactly what I had. Doesn't need to be the perfect structure for ChatGPT. It's Saturday. This is what I've eaten. I've had 2 slices of chicken breast the size of a palm. I've had 1 piece of Satsuma. I've had chicken soup. I've had whatever. Everything you have, write it down, and it will give you an estimated calories. That's how you're going to track. And when you're doing this, I also need you to tell ChatGPT that I need you to be a little bit harsh. I need you to be harsh, and I'll tell you why. You don't need to say this to him, because let's say you've eaten 1,200 calories in one meal, and ChatGPT isn't being harsh. ChatGPT is kind of giving you the benefit of the doubt, and it's told you 1,000 calories. That is not going to be on your side, because when you weigh up your calories at the end of the week, when you see your daily average calories, it will be a lie, and it will be over what you actually consumed. If anything, you would rather overshoot. You'd rather write more calories than how much you've actually consumed, so that the daily average calories is either correct or it might be a little bit less, but that will be on your side. That just means you're going to lose more weight because you'll be in a deeper deficit, right? So always say, like, be harsh. If you think that there's a possibility that there is 1,200 calories in this meal, then give me 1,200 calories. Give me 1,300 calories. Might as well be safe than sorry. because it's not like Fitness Pal where you can track Monday to Friday, for example, and everything's accurate, and you got the exact number. You've weighed things up, you've scanned barcodes, everything is 100% accurate. It's not. So you'd rather overshoot on the days that is not 100% accurate. That will just put you in a much, much, much better position. Now, I keep touching on the fact that yes, we lose weight because we want to get lean and we want to get strong and we want to look good and feel good. Fantastic. But these are all very surface level reasons of why you want to lose weight. And actually, it's not going to be on your side because losing weight is hard. It is challenging. And you need a better reason than that. You need a bigger reason than that. You need your why. And from experience, you need it to be centered around someone else or other people, because I do believe that God put us on this earth not for ourselves, for other people, to help each other, to love each other, to be there for each other in during tough times. And so having your why for other people is going to keep you on track when the diet gets hard, when you go out for Friday night dinner, when you go out for a night out and you just want to eat loads and you just want to drink loads, or during the week when you know you should be having only 1,300 calories because the weekend's coming up and you're going to be consuming 8,000 calories like myself, so you need the calories to average out, right? You need to think about why for them. So who is it that you're doing this for? Why do you want to lose weight for other people? What does that even mean? I always talk about the fact that you should not care about what anyone else thinks and you should do shit for yourself, because you live for yourself, you're with yourself all day long, and you will be with yourself for the rest of your life. So why are you doing shit for other people? I'm not talking about your friends, your acquaintances, people you see at work, people you see at the gym. I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about people that are close to you or will eventually, when you get there, be close to you. Now, for some of you watching this, you might have a girlfriend, you might not. You might have a wife, you might not. You might have children, you might not. I don't know if you would have children, because I think maybe the demographic of the people watching this are a little bit younger, probably around my age. But do you want to have a wife? Do you want to have kids? I know I do. I know I was put here to have a family, to reproduce, to be fruitful and multiply. And that's exactly what I want to do. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. Now, in order to be the type of husband and the type of father that deserves respect, first, I must respect myself. First, I might take accountability for myself. First, I must control myself. Because how can you expect to have a house in order when you are not even in order? How can you expect for your family, for your future wife and your future children to look up to you as a man if you have not at least done the bare minimum or do the bare minimum on a day-to-day basis? Now, what is the bare minimum? I think the bare minimum is going to the gym 3 days a week, eating healthy most of the time, being lean because it shows that you have control over yourself. And when things are hard, you stick with it, you push through. At the end of the day, these are the things that are important to me and that I think you need to have control over if you want to raise a family and raise it well. I I really want to be a father who guides his children. Right now, I love my parents. I had an amazing upbringing, but I also would have liked a little bit more guidance. You know, looking back, being a little bit more educated on life, how to treat people, how hard to work, what is work ethic. You know, one time my dad, he used to have a shop in Croydon, and outside the shop he started selling bubble guns, and it was the first day, and he bought me, my brothers, and he was like, look, I'm going to sell bubble guns. You stand there, hold the bubbles, press the bubble guns all day long to like attract customers. And whatever we make, you keep it. You keep it. And first day, I think it was a Saturday, ended up making like £800. And we were all gassed. We were like, yeah, £800 between us, amazing. And then he was like, he realized, oh shit, that's probably too much money. I can't give it to them. And so he ended up paying us £80 when I was like 6. I don't know how old I was. I can't remember. 6, 7, 8, something like that. £80. That's a lot of fucking money for a 9-year-old, 10-year-old, whatever. That's a lot of money. And I did what? Nothing. Stood there pressing a button. In my opinion, that is not how you teach work ethic. You know, to teach work ethic, it would have been you wake up early with me, you go to sleep at the same time I go to sleep, you stand there all day pressing the bubble gun, you also take the money, you also bring customers in by actually going up, make the kid work, and then pay him £5 at the end of the day. Then he would appreciate the money a lot more, because when shit comes too easy, it's harder to appreciate. Now, you know, I've had to kind of like learn a lot of these things as I've grown up. And I'm grateful for it, of course. And I'm grateful for my parents. I don't want you to think for a second that, you know, I'm not grateful for them and everything they've done for me. I wouldn't be here without them today. But I want to be a really, really good father for my children, to my children. I want to be there for them in every aspect that I can. I want to teach them things. I want to guide them. I want to protect them. I want to live this type of life where things get hard, where I experience hardships, so that when they are going through hard times, I know what it feels like, and I know what type of advice to give them so they can come out of the hardship, so they can overcome the hardship, because there's always going to be hardships throughout your life. There is always going to be hardships, you know, and having that understanding of what to do, of what to teach them, of what to tell them, and actually give them good advice to guide them, let them do the work, but give them good advice so that they become their own man. Let them do it. But being able to guide, I think, is huge for me. And so this is what I think about. This is what I think about when I am dieting, when I find things hard. I haven't eaten today. I think it's about 1 p.m., something like that, and I haven't eaten. And I'm going to eat very minimal today because I find it really hard, especially today. Like, some days are easier, some days are harder. Today is hard, 110%. I'm finding it hard right now. I'm hungry. My body wants food, but I will not give in. I want hard. Life is hard sometimes. So understanding that and going towards that hard is going to turn you stronger. I don't want to be weak. I don't want my children to be weak. And so this is my why. And I have a bunch of things that I've written down which can add to my why, which I've added to my why. But, you know, understanding your why, that's going to help you. So if you take one takeaway from this video, is that yes, you need to be in a calorie deficit. Yes, you need to eat less. Yes, you need to eat high protein. Yes, you need to go to the gym. These are all things that you know that you should be doing, that you don't always do. And the reason why you don't always do them is because you get distracted, you get demotivated, you veer off track, you stop because you don't have your why, brother. Find out your why. Why is it that you want this physique? Why do you want to be strong physically and mentally? Why do you want to have control over what goes in your mouth? Why do you want to be disciplined? Why do you want to go through hardships? Once you understand your why, dieting becomes a lot easier. You'll happily train hard in the gym, but you won't happily diet because it's fucking hard. So understand your why, and that will help you massively. And remember, it's still going to be hard. Hope you enjoyed that video. I'll see you on the next one. Keep watching the Instagram stories if you're there. It's where I basically just update you on my day-to-day life. Been posting a lot more on there recently. So yeah, keep having a look out for those. I'm going to try and post more YouTube videos as well. And if you are interested in one-on-one coaching and want to know what it's about and everything that I do with the guys I train in the Arvets Academy, I'll stick a link down below in the description where you can book a call with me and we can see if you're a good fit for the program. Cheers for watching, and we'll see you in the next video, boys. Love.